Okay, so today we're going to deep dive into something that's pretty key for anyone in higher ed,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're the one trying to find amazing new faculty. We're
Right.
talking about academicjobs.com.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
Yeah, familiar with it for sure.
Yeah, so we've got this guide here basically laying out their whole sales pitch
Uh-huh.
for why they think every university should be using them to hire.
Gotcha.
And I got to say, some of it's pretty convincing.
Interesting.
So what struck you right off the bat when you were reading this thing?
I think the first thing that jumped out at me was how they try to establish credibility from the get-go.
Yeah,
They
right.
they drop some pretty big names right away, like Harvard,
Yeah.
Oxford,
Yeah,
Princeton.
like all the boss stuff.
Exactly. Like, look, if it's good enough for them, it should be good enough for you.
It's like that whole idea of like social proof, right?
Yeah.
Like if everyone else is doing it, I should probably at least check it out.
Totally. It's a powerful psychological thing?
Yeah, for sure. But it's got to be more than just name dropping, right?
Oh, definitely. There's some substance to their claims, too.
Okay, so tell me, like, what actually makes academicjobs.com stand out? I mean, beyond the fancy name.
Well, they really lean into the tech side of things, which I think it's smart. They've got this higher ed job AI thing.
Ooh, AI, everyone's talking about AI these days.
Exactly. It's like the hot topic. But in this case, it seems like more than just a buzzword. They claim it actually helps optimize your job listings to reach a wider audience of qualified candidates.
So it's not just like posting it and hoping for the best?
Nope, it's more strategic than that.
Okay, so break it down for me. How does this AI actually work?
So basically, it analyzes tons of data, about the skills and experience needed for a specific job.
Gotcha.
And then it tweaks your listing to make sure it pops up in searches by people who actually have those qualifications.
So it's like a matchmaking service for academia.
You could say that, yeah.
I love it. And they also mentioned this Google Job Boost thing.
Right.
What's that all about? Does my listing suddenly become like the top result on Google?
Pretty much, yeah. They explain how they use specific keywords to boost your job posting in search results. So when someone searches for, let's say, history professor,
Yeah.
your listing is right there front and center.
Okay, so they're helping you get noticed, which is huge. But then what happens when someone actually clicks on the listing?
And this is where I think they have a really clever approach. Instead of keeping the applicant on their platform,
Right.
they actually redirect them back to the institution's own website to apply.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not a dead end on academicjobs.com.
Exactly.
And I bet that also gives the applicant a chance to see what other jobs are available at that university, right?
Absolutely. It drives traffic and potential applications right to your doorstep.
That's a win-win.
Definitely.
Now, there were a couple other things in the guide that I was curious about.
Yeah.
They mentioned academic rankings and
Oh, yeah.
Higher Ed podcast show. What
Yeah.
are those all about?
So this is where they go beyond just being a job board. They're trying to create a whole ecosystem around higher education.
Okay.
So the rankings, they basically provide a space for people who are interested in, exploring different institutions and their reputations.
Interesting.
Think like potential faculty or even students.
So they're catching people who might not even be actively looking for a job at that moment.
Exactly. Maybe they're just starting to think about their options.
Right.
And then you've got the podcast, which actively engages listeners with topics relevant to higher education.
Okay.
So it keeps academicjobs.com, and by extension, it's job postings top of mind for people in the field.
It's like subtle advertising genius.
Kind of, yeah.
It's like they're becoming this hub, this go-to place for the entire higher ed community.
Right. It's a smart strategy.
So it seems like if you're a university and you want to attract the best people you know in this crazy competitive academic world,
yeah,
academicjobs.com is worth looking into.
for sure.
They've got the reach, they've got the technology,
Uh-huh.
and they seem to have a really strategic approach
They do.
that could give you a serious edge.
I think this kind of approach to recruitment could be the future of higher ed. It's definitely evolving, and institutions that embrace tools like this are going to be ahead of the curve.
So much to think about, right?
Lots to consider.
Well, I hope everyone listening got a good sense of why academicjobs.com is making waves in higher ed.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe we'll see some of you posting your jobs there soon.
I think it's definitely worth exploring.
All right, that's it for today's deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.